Morgan Tavangiral, Zimbabwe's opposition movement for democratic change leader, says now the MDC says it is suspending its leader Morgan Tavangiral amid deepening divisions in its rank. A statement issued by the party after a meeting in Harare accused him of a remarkable failure of leadership. It also said he had deviated from the party's democratic founding principles. Tavangiral lost a third election challenge to veteran President Robert Mugabe in 2013 and defied calls to stand down after his defeat. The MDC leadership is reported to have been riven with infighting for months since then. Let's look at this matter further. I'm joined over the telephone by Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso from the CRIA. Thank you very much, Dr. Nchidanso, for your time. Hello, Doc. Dr. Nchidanso.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. And the matter is the fact that the MDC, there seems to be some sort of rift. Tension is brewing within the MDC. They are divided over whether or not Tavangiral at this point is a legitimate leader for the MDC. Your analysis of this whole matter?
Well, the main problem within the Zimbabwean opposition is that it didn't have roots to start with. But the coalition is only because of one man, the hatred for Mugabe and Mugabe's intransigence in wanting to go on and on and on. So Tavangiral didn't have that kind of formation that was solidly rooted in a certain specific ideology and a philosophy. And on, you could see that he couldn't hold the fort properly because election after election, it was just that passion for overthrowing Mugabe that put them together. Now that he hasn't been able to deliver much, and also that the incumbent government is trying to push spokes in the wheels of the MDC, one would expect that this kind of fragmentation would one day arise. I think it has arisen now.
The other question is power tarnished Morgan Tavangiral, especially when he's been accused of practicing or encouraging the culture of violence. They say that indeed he has acted in violent ways against members of the MDC who do not align with his ways of thinking. Did power necessarily tarnish Morgan?
The point is this, that when a situation rises where opposition is unable to unseat the incumbent, that fragmentations come. It can't be allegations. The party itself was born out of violence, and I wouldn't surprised if he would employ a kind of violence against his own members. The government has employed it against them and against its own members, and will continue to be there. Once upon a time, I wrote an article and I was saying that Mugabe Zimbabwe was not going to be very easy. And I think that these are signs of the time that the people of Zimbabwe have not found a new rhythm to replace the age-long governance of Mugabe. So if Tavangiral is found to have done all this, I think obviously he can't be the leader. He needs to punish one way or the other.
If the MDC should split, what does it mean for the politics of Zimbabwe?
Come again.
If the MDC splits, as is being suggested that
yes,
they are on the verge of splitting, what would it mean for the politics of Zimbabwe?
Sifting through things in politics is always very good if it is not going to end up in violence. Splitting, maybe say the ANC, for example, or any other party that splits, helps in crystallizing that party, helps in creating the platform for like-minded people to really come and pick up from the ashes. It happens everywhere. So splitting the MDC is not the end of things, because when Tavangiral was getting all the attention, global spotlight, if that spotlight dies, you are expecting something to happen. To explain, it doesn't see the end of opposition in Zimbabwe. And China should have known this, because the government would have done everything possible to get them splintering. And therefore, I'm not surprised. But the splintering would not affect opposition in Zimbabwe. What is needed is the right leadership, the right people with right thinking and right philosophy, right strategy to be able to do, to create the democratic atmosphere in Zimbabwe. Make sure that it doesn't end up in some kind of instability, but that they crystallize democracy in Zimbabwe.
But if the major opposition political party, the MDC, splits, then many more years for Mugabe.
It doesn't follow. Mugabe is a human being. He can die at any time. What is happening to Tavangiral's party can also happen to Mugabe's party. Watch out, if Mugabe dies today, you can see what would happen. Just like we predicted the problem in Guinea, for example. Post-Conte Guinea was not going to fall if the opposition does not gather its loins. It's the same thing I have always predicted for Burkina Faso. If Compaoré dies today, there's going to be a problem. So these are issues that happen all the time in politics in several countries. So if the party splits, it doesn't mean opposition cannot be strategic, cannot try again and rebuild themselves. If Mugabe's party continues to win, it doesn't mean there's no democracy. What we need is a good opposition that cements democracy in Zimbabwe.
Would it be prudent for the MDC to watch itself split at this point?
Your question again, the line is breaking.
Would it be such a good thing to happen if the MDC watches itself split?
Let me work out this here. Would it be what?
Is it such a good thing for the MDC to watch itself split at this point?
To allow itself to split at this point is rather very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. What they needed to do is to get strength day to day. But to allow itself to get splitted at this point is very unfortunate. But I hope some good leadership comes out of it and be able to put the party together, or whatever splinter group would emerge can take up from the ashes and build a more viable opposition.